Hey, I'm Zach, and I'm applying for sports ministry, men's ministry, and dog pack leader. My personal skills that could help me in each of these positions is, as a dog pack leader, I've already been a dog pack leader, so I learned how to prepare for that, and I was able to connect with my people in my dog pack really well, and I think our dog pack just went really well, and we all had a tight-knit community that was there for each other and learned about the Lord through that. For sports ministry, I'm a pretty athletic guy, and I feel like I can connect with a lot of people through sports. I've done that already. I made a lot of friends when Ramsey was open pre-COVID. I've been at Beach Haven and made some friends there on Wednesday nights playing basketball, and also through IM Sports I've made a lot of friends. I think that we could use IM Sports to be able to, use my specific skills in connecting with others and show them Christ through playing sports with them, and also encouraging the people on our BCM teams to be able to be outward with their faith, even if it's just playing an IM sport. And then for men's ministry, I've helped lead another one, or I already helped lead a men's ministry event with Zach Hutzel, and just preparing the devotion for that and figuring out what to do. We already did, and I feel like I'm good at. I know people across the board in BCM, whether it's the seniors or the freshmen, through my freshman dog pack. Sorry, I was reading the second question. So living above reproach is something that we should all do as Christians, but especially for leaders. It's important that we always are living in a way that if someone were to look at our life, they would be encouraged rather than discouraged. This is big for me, especially in college, because the partying aspect is such a draw and temptation that if a person who calls himself a Christian, especially a Christian leader, is portraying actions that could cause someone to stumble, whether another believer or an unbeliever, because unbelievers, if you're showing that you live just like the world, they could see that and be discouraged and say that's what Christians are like. Or they could say, well, he's acting that way, so I don't have to act any different. It's not really important to be a Christian. Whereas if you're a stumbling block for another believer, that's they could see you as their leader, especially in a dog pack. It's very important, because if they see you as a leader doing those things, they would be encouraged to do the wrong thing, which is a huge issue. I apply that to my life by just trying to do everything I can. I grew up with 4 younger siblings, so I've always, my parents always raised me, just try to be a role model to younger siblings, and just kind of the way I try to live my life is, if I wouldn't be proud to see them do something, I shouldn't do it. So just in a Christian context, that's following the words of following the word of God, and just trying to live in a way that's counterculture. At church, our pastor was talking about it says when we are persecuted, and persecution in America, it's free, so persecution can be being an outcast in society, and it says when we are being persecuted. If we aren't doing things apart from the world that cause us to be persecuted, we need to look at our lives and make sure that we're living in a way that we are persecuted, which would be living above reproach. All right, through sports evangelism, we could go not so Super Bowl, IM Sports, any of those things. We would just we would plan those things and be very intentional with it. We're actually doing this with our softball team this year, where we've been playing, and we try to play in a way that's doesn't anger others, and at the end we'll pray with them and just tell them we enjoy playing and invite them to BCM. what we would try to do with the sports ministry next year is just make sure all of our players are playing in a way that doesn't beckon anger or any feelings of hatred from the other teams. And we want to be an encouragement to them and also the other people on our teams. We can mix teams of like BCM and believers and non-believers, and that would help us get a deeper relationship with other people and be able to just pour into them through, like, even if it's something as little as an IM sport, and also just play in a way that the people on the other teams that we're playing will see that we're different from the world and wonder why, and then we can like pray with them after and just try to be really intentional with sharing the gospel with them. I think that could be a really great way to reach the campus. And also, Not So Super Bowl is a great event we have every year, and this year especially, I think it was very good that we were intentional to bring in like non-believers and people that would see kind of the culture of BCM, and we could be able to like share the gospel with them through our team and like the practices that we would have. And I would also like to do other events like Not So Super Bowl, or just like little tournaments throughout the year, like things such as spike ball or cornhole or Polish, and just be able and try to get it more outward into like the community to reach people on the campus that aren't necessarily involved in church right now. All right, if I were in charge of a men's ministry event, I would, which I already have been in charge of one. On that one, we did a cookout, and before we played Ultimate Frisbee, then we had a cookout and then had a devotion at the end. And that went really well. There were a bunch of guys that came out and said they had a good time. If I were to lead men's ministry again, I would like to do a type of event where I feel like sports are a good thing for men in general. And it's a good way for everyone to get connected and like kind of warmed up with each other, and then dive into a devotion, whether that be about relationships, hidden sins, or something like that. I feel like a lot of times in the church, especially with men, there's not a focus on like hidden sins such as lust, and a huge issue in the church is pornography, and that's not talked about. I think it would be important to just address those hard sins and know that we're all there for each other, and be able to talk about those things and open up, and hopefully that could really make moves like in our ministry to help just have a community of understanding believers with each other. And opening up is like the first step to being able to overcome that sin, and I think that could be really powerful. Thank you.